Don't forget to subscribe. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. We could go into the plot of this, but I don't think we need to, because what it is just a pretense for us to learn a little bit more about what ended the Earth-Minbari War. Now, Sinclair is kidnapped and he's strapped to a chair and is given hallucinogenic drugs so that he can be interrogated to perhaps open up the blank in his own mind. He has said in previous episodes that there was a point in the final battle in the Minbari War that he blacked out, and when he came to 48 hours later or something like that, there was peace. And he never knew what happened in that period of time, and there had been inquests and things like this. And this episode goes to document that a little further, exactly what he said during the inquest for it, and also a little peek at what he was not able to remember. The backstory, basically, on all of this is why it was that the Minbari specifically wanted Sinclair to be the commander of Babylon 5, why they stopped the war to begin with, why when they are an advanced race and had easily the capability of wiping out the Earth Force, why they didn't. And it'll be revealed later in the series, but right now we're only getting little peeks at it, and some things already been suggested. For instance, that Delenn was on the Grey Council. That was mentioned by Lanier when he first comes on board. She says, I don't want anybody to know about this until I'm ready to tell anybody. And this is something that Sinclair has now found out in the process of his interrogation, is that Delenn was on what he thinks was the Grey Council. We don't know what they asked him, what the interrogation was, what the reason that his memory was blocked, or what exactly happened after that, or why they did what they did. But it all ties together. We know that this is really one of the most underlying themes of the entire show, is why this war ended and why the Minbari decided to stop it. And by the Earth government at this time is suspicious still of the Minbari and thinks that maybe what they did by stopping the war, they were going to infiltrate instead, and that Sinclair is part of that. And whether that's true or not, we don't find out here. But interesting little insights into this relationship between Delenn and Sinclair, and why Delenn is on the station. These things are still a little bit murky, but we're starting to get just a little peek at what may be going on here. And it's interesting. I'm trying to decide for myself what it was about the Sinclair character that I didn't care for when I first saw this series a long time ago. Obviously, the part was written well. There are some stories he has made to be rather heroic, but at the same time, I believe the story that has since come out afterwards that the actor himself was going through certain things that may have impeded his ability to play this part as well as he did, even though Straczynski was behind him all the way if he wanted to stay on. But I found he had everything in his voice. I mean, if you were to not look at the picture and listen to him, you'd be very moved by his acting here. But you didn't always see it in his face. His face was always a little too distant, and that's something that an actor has to have, is to tell you by the way he looks what his intentions are, and good actors can do that. And what we had here was certainly a good performance, but a certain part of it seemed a little blocked off. And I'm not talking about just this episode, but the episodes that Sinclair has been in that had some reason to think that he just wasn't as compelling a lead character as I'd hoped he would be. And I don't think it has anything to do with the writing or how he said his lines, certainly. It just did not seem to... It's this undescribable part of it that you just don't read off his face, I guess. So, mysteries in the real world, mysteries in the show. Another well-done thing. We learn a little bit about how long it would take to do a full search on the station, which would be several days. We see a little bit more into the personality of Garibaldi, pointed out by Ivanova, who, in part of the search, Garibaldi told them to go and search the hull of the station for bodies. And Ivanova makes a remark that she'd never be able to do his job if she thought like him. That's the gist of what they came up with there. We don't see any of the other ambassadors except for Delenn, and we see a good bit of Dr. Franklin, and of course Garibaldi and Ivanova. They did pretty well on this, and it's enough to keep you wanting to continue to watch the story to see how it plays out, even when you know how it's going to end up. I remember what the actual answer to all these questions were, but still the way they did it was very engaging and something that makes me want to keep watching. I'd like to know what you think about this. Please put your comments below, and we will read every one of them and answer many of them. So we hope that you will do that, and whatever it writes on the screen here, do that too if you haven't done it already. Click a like if you please, and we will be back today later with Lower Decks, and then back on Tuesday with Deep Space Nine, Wednesday with the original series. So until we talk to you again, don't go far.